Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a real good video for you today. It's about the arrest of Young Thug and 24 associates of his from the Atlanta hip-hop scene, and he's a rapper in Atlanta. You're gonna probably be a little bit surprised on my take in this, but before we get started, please check us out on YouTube member programs, Patreon programs, Discord. Check out merch out, all the stuff I have on, the book, Gangster Redemption. You can get it signed. Just make sure you email us when you buy it. So let me jump right into this case. First of all, this is what happened. And I'm gonna say this right off the bat. I'm not impressed with the state attorney. The state attorney in Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, charged Young Thug and 24 others with a racketeering charge, including some accused of murder and attempted robbery. I don't get the attempted robbery on this and then a murder. District attorneys has vowed to crack down on street gangs. I think it's the biggest cop-out in the world right now. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna stick up for the hip-hop community right now. And here's why. I think because of crime and what's going on around the country right now, they're looking for easy scapegoats. Officials who are messing this whole thing up with money, with reallocation of funds and not paying the right people. It's all catching up with them and they have to blame somebody. And what do? They go to the street gangs. And I'm not even buying it. I'm really not buying it, what they did. Anyway, Atlanta rap star is arrested on gang-related charges. The rap star Young Thug, one of the most influential artists to emerge from Atlanta's famously fertile hip-hop scene, was arrested Monday on suspicion of gang involvement and conspiracy to violate the Georgia criminal racketeering law. The rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, was charged in a sweeping grand jury indictment that identified him and 27 other people as members of the same criminal street gang and charged some of them with violent crimes, including murder and attempted robbery. First of all, let me tell you why I don't like this. I don't buy the conspiracy law. Conspiracy means that if I'm in this room right now and I talk to my brother and we're just saying, hey, we think we could really go rob a jewelry store, and we can get away with it. Now nothing happens. We say, nah, we wouldn't do this shit. Now he goes and robs a jewelry store, my brother. I can get now arrested for conspiracy because I knew about it and they saying I am part of that conspiracy. I don't like the conspiracy law. This was so badly done, in my opinion, that it's not federally RICO. It's not a federal RICO Act. It's the Federal Racketeering Influence Corruption Organization. It came out in 1970. And that law was targeting mob bosses and stuff like this so they can get them, because then nobody can get them actually doing the crime already. They're the boss and they want to try to take down organizations. I think Georgia is really, really wrong on this case. And I'm really disappointed in the district attorney, Fannie Willis of Fulton County. She's newly elected. She's coming out as this gangbuster. She went after Trump. She went after everybody. I don't like this lady. And she's a black lady, so it's not a black-white thing in this thing. I don't like her because what she's doing to the hip-hop community. She's trying to say that people who kind of like the same music, hang out in the same way, grew up in the same projects, well, now they're a street gang. Listen, people from all walks of life commit crimes. That's just it, guys. Not everybody in that group should be charged unless they all are going into the stores, all are doing something. This conspiracy shit is bullshit. And I really think Young Thug is gonna win this case. And he's gonna put Georgia down for what they are, and I'm really pissed off at this whole thing because I think we're just attacking young people of color in Georgia. And even though she's black, you could say, oh no, it's not a black and white thing. Listen to me. Who has street gang? Who comes from the hood? Who comes from the projects? Usually young black people, and they might not have a family. They might not have a dad or a mom. And what do? They gravitate to people who accept them. Now, am I justifying crime in any way? Absolutely not. If you do a crime, you pay the time. Period. But don't tell me we all could be sitting around the park on a bench just talking about something, and all of a sudden, because you didn't go run to the police and tell on your friends, now you're involved in this conspiracy? Come on, man. That's a Biden. Come on, man. This is bullshit. Law enforcement is not trying to work with people. And I don't know what they're doing, especially with the younger people. They're not trying to work with them, so I don't buy this one at all. She's this big time vowed to crack down on street gangs, this Fannie Willis. Don't buy her. I don't like her. I don't buy her. And I'm not sticking up for crime, and I'm not sticking up for gangs. I'm sticking up for right and wrong. Why are we judging all these young people so harshly? And it's wrong. It's wrong. You're going to give them records. You're going to try to make each one of them snitch on each other. It really reeks. I had to come out with this video because it reeks so much. You know, and I said to myself, I'm not going to hold back when things are right or wrong. Listen, I want to have chiefs of police on. I want to have sheriffs on. And if they're doing something good, we have a sheriff here. I might not see eye to eye with him, but he's busting people who abuse animals. I kind of like that, you know, and I want to talk to him about that. I like that. People who abuse animals are fucking the first part of a psychopath, and that's just what it is. Well, here we go. The indictment alleges that Mr. Williams is the founder of the Young Slime Life, a criminal street gang that began in Atlanta in 2012 and is affiliated with the National Bloods gang. Mr. Williams' successful record label has been variously called YSL Records or Young Stoner Life Records. The label refers to its artists as part of the Slime family, and a compilation called Slime Language hit #1. So? Everything I'm reading about this whole case stinks. It totally stinks, people. And we need to hold these people who are in authority accountable. They need to be voted out of office if you're in Georgia. And if you're in the hip-hop gang, you need to come together, because this is bullshit what they're doing. All 28 people named in the indictment were charged with conspiracy to violate the state's Racketeering, Influence, and Corruption Organization Act, or RICO, which is closely modeled on the federal law that has most famously been used against organized crime members. I was busted on the RICO Act, the federal RICO Act. This is not even a federal crime. The federal government didn't do this, people. In 2014, Ms. Willis helped lead a controversial racketeering prosecution in which Atlanta public schools teachers were accused of cheating on standardized tests. She has also raised the possibility that Mr. Trump and some of his allies have been violated state RICO law in allege. This lady is nothing but a, what do they call it, a headline hunter. Listen to me, I don't know who she is. I don't know her. But if I was the hip hop community, I would band together, people. Because even me, I'm the helping band together. This is wrong. Because they have a thing called slime. What gangs form in 2012 and now all this big conspiracy crap? You want to go after the Bloods? Go after the Bloods. They've been around forever. And if you find them with listen, the conspiracy is bullshit. Again, conspiracy is bullshit. Ms. Willis and other Georgia officials have raised alarms recently about gangs in the Atlanta region, where they have historically not been as prevalent or as culturally rooted as they are in places like Greater Los Angeles. In a recent public meeting, Ms. Willis called gangs the #1 threat against public safety. Bullshit. Another one. Bullshit. At a news conference on Tuesday, she said gangs are committing conservatively 75 to 80% of all violent crime that we're seeing within our community, and so they have to be booted out of our community. I don't buy it. I want to see the numbers where they show that. I really don't. I don't think there's not that many gang members who can do crimes consistently to be at that kind of a number. And what are you calling gangs now? You know, it's gotten to the point where we're just labeling people that aren't like us. And it's kind of really, it's just disturbing. And I'm sorry to say this, that's why I wanted to do this video. I don't know Young Thug's music. I like some rap. I used to listen to Eminem and stuff. And it's not about that. I'm sticking up for after reading into a case that hit me as bullshit right out the fucking gate. And I don't like that. Mrs. Willis said that the Atlanta should absolutely expect more RICO indictments against other street gangs. I don't get it again. For what? If they commit a crime, arrest them. Just arrest them. Because this kid doesn't have a family and he's hanging out with this group, are you now labeling him a gang member? Who labels somebody a gang member that makes them now under indictment for a conspiracy? Who? Who is the labeling authority of that? Did they go sign a box, say I'm a gang member now? You know, wow, this thing is deeper than I thought. And it kind of got me as you can tell, pissed off. The indictment comes at a time when other big city lawmakers and law enforcement officials are worried about hip-hop artists and their ties to criminal activity as the nation struggles to contain a nationwide spike in violent crime. Those concerns and the pushback from civil libertarians and hip-hop fans echo the debates of the late 80s and early 90s when explicitly violent lyrics in the emerging gangster rap genre stirred controversy. This is what they say. We go through this cycle, moral panic. If it's the Tip of Gore era in the 90s or now, said Eric Nielsen, a professor of liberal arts at the University of Richmond who studies hip-hop culture, it's a convenient scapegoat for authorities who are not getting the job done. How about COVID? How about no jobs? How about restrictions? How about keeping people in their house so they couldn't do things? How about that's your spike in crime? Why are you blaming the hip-hop community? Monday's 88-page indictment, however, alleges that the gang was involved in a wide variety of illegal activities, including witness intimidation, murder, attempted murder, carjacking, robbery, theft, and drug dealing. A number of people who were named as victims of shootings or attempted shootings, including Dwayne Carter, the New Orleans hip-hop star who raps under the name Lil Wayne, and whose tour bus was shot at by YSL member named Jimmy Winfrey in April of 2015, according to the indictment. Mr. Williams is named as having committed a number of illegal acts for which he is not charged, but which are described as overt acts in furtherance of the group's criminal conspiracy. The word overt means outwardly, and covert means under the table, like hidden. Well, he's saying he overtly. And now if they're going to come up with this lyric shit, it's going to really piss me off, because then let's get back to the censoring. Why ain't video games being censored? Why, you know, when you have young kids blowing people's heads off at a video game, does that desensitize people? Are we going to ban all that? No, and we shouldn't. We are trying to give excuses for bad management of cities. And that's what it is now. The COVID hurt a lot of Atlanta, I'm sure, and a lot of the big cities. Jobs, that kind of stuff hurt a lot of the big cities. Not just gang members. Gangs have been around forever. And gangs were formed, you know, to be a family for people who didn't have a family. And to protect their, whatever you want to call it, turf. Are they committing crimes? Listen, I committed crimes. Was I in a gang? Is the mafia considered a gang? You know, it's, I don't know. It's really disturbing. Mr. Williams' name is having committed a number of illegal acts of which he's not charged, but which are described as overt acts, criminal conspiracy. Furtherance of the group's criminal conspiracy. That word is terrible. We're going to put it up right now, the definition of conspiracy. And it's bullshit. Among those allegations are an instance of threatening to kill a man at a mall and possession of methamphetamine with the intent to distribute it. Big fucking deal. Guy could have had 5 grams of meth. They call an intent to distribute, that's their crime. Threaten a guy at a mall? Really? I mean, what do you say? I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm gonna kill you, get the fuck out of here. A lot of people say things under the heat of the moment, and I don't buy this one either. Mr. Williams is also alleged to have rented a silver Infiniti Q50 sedan that was used in the commission of a murder of a rival gang leader, Donovan Thomas Jr., in January 2015. Did he commit the murder? I have a car and I give it to my brother. I lent it to someone. You even have things today where you can rent your own car. They have, it's like, I don't know if it's an Uber car. They'll actually deliver a car. A person's private car, you'll get to rent. Does that make that car under you now? Are you getting in this conspiracy now? 5 men are charged with murder in connection with Mr. Thomas's death. One of them, Demonte Kendrick, is identified as Yak Gotti, the rapper on YSL label. Again, you want to get the guys for murder and you have enough evidence for those guys to be indicted for murder, indict them. Don't bring in 28 other people to hope they all start flipping, because that's a bad tactic. And I thought they were getting away with that. I don't see that done here, and I have to give law enforcement a heads up and a thank you on that one. Previous court documents say that Mr. Thomas' compatriots blamed YSL for his death. On Tuesday, Miss Willis said that his murder created violence like Atlanta has never seen. What the fuck Atlanta has she been living in? Atlanta's had violence for a long time. She also said she promised Mr. Thomas' mother she would do everything she could to make sure that her son had justice. I'm really not liking this Willis lady. I really am not. Brian Steele, a lawyer for Mr. Williams, which is Young Thug, said that YSL was not a street gang. Mr. Williams came from an incredibly horrible upbringing, and he has conducted himself throughout his life in a way that is just to marvel at. Mr. Steele said he's committed no crime whatsoever. I believe that right now, because they would have indicted him for that crime and not conspiracy. They would have said, you're indicted for murder, we got your fingerprints, we got witnesses in the car, we know it was your gun. Whatever they were going to do, they didn't do it. Also charged with one count of racketeering is Sergio Kitchens. The indictment alleges he committed felonies including, listen to this, receiving stolen property and drug possession with intent to distribute. Do you know how many times they used to come up to our bar in our area and they'd give us money, hot items, clothes? My dad never bought any of our underwear, undershirts, socks, unless it was out of a trunk. That's receiving stolen property, isn't it? The whole world could have been getting. I don't know how many people out there have bought something that, you know, go to a flea market, it was probably something stolen there. So, receiving stolen property and drug possession. You know, I want people to read stuff. When you read the crap that some of these people put out, and I'm talking about the prosecutors and stuff, you can read right between the lines, people. In April 2020, when Ms. Willis charged a dozen people who were said to be members of the gangs that are locked in a bloody rivalry with YSL, including Rashawn Bennett, another famous rap artist, whose stage name is YFN Lucci. Mr. Bennett was indicted on, among other things, felony murder charge in connection with a drive-by shooting. Monday's indictment charges 3 people accused of being YSL members with attempted murder in an attack on Mr. Bennett, who was stabbed in jail in February. I want to see that one be proved. A stabbing in jail, and you're going to prove now it's the murder of the people on the street. It's going to be good. I am not impressed with the fact that you are a rapper. This is now her big tagline for the TV. That's not going to keep you from being indicted by default, Ms. Willis said at a news conference in April, in which she criticized a judge for granting bond to Christian Eppinger, who raps under the name Big Briss, is reported to be a young Slime Life member and is accused of shooting an Atlanta police officer 6 times in February. If they committed acts of violence and if we have enough evidence to substantiate that, you're going to see indictments, Ms. Wilson. I got it. Why are you pissed that the guy got bond? The only reason you don't get bond in any case is if you're a flight risk or you're a threat to the community. They're not showing that he's a threat to the community, so this judge did right. You know, one incident of killing somebody or anything, a domestic violence murder, you can get bail. Are you a flight risk? Do you have the money? Do you have the resources? Do you have the wherewithal? Where are you going to go? All that has to do with it. And then they have to prove you like that. Mr. Eppinger is facing 15 new charges under Monday's indictment, including attempted murder. I just think this is a sweep. I don't know how they do stuff in Georgia, but I'm pretty disappointed. The new charging documents and other records show that Fulton County prosecutors have been paying close attention to the music and social media output of Atlanta area rappers and their associates for some time, using the content to bolster their criminal cases against a number of suspects from both rival gang groups. Wow, is this fucked up? Now they can't say what they want to say because they're being watched. Boy, are we having a really cultural war, I think. Right now there's a cultural war. And it needs to be fought, and it needs to be won by the young people, and it needs to be won by the hip-hop artists, and it needs to be won by all young people who live in wherever. We gotta stop letting these old fucking people run this country. I mean, it's bad enough we got fucking 2 guys running for president probably gonna be 80 years old. The fuck is that? We have too many old people who are running this country don't understand people growing up. I got a different look because I work with young people every day. The indictment claims that after the killing of Mr. Thomas, the rival gang leader, Mr. Williams, appeared in a video in which he stated that some people get killed, bro, from me and YSL, while using an explicit. In another video in 2018, he is alleged to have stated, I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body. What does that mean? Why do you put this in an indictment? boy, we are really working on edges, people. Our rights are getting taken away really quickly. So I want you to really pay attention, and I want you to not fucking stick up with this. Listen, the old people didn't want pot legalized forever. Forever. It's getting legalized state by state. Why the feds aren't doing it, I have no idea yet. But this is ridiculous. And the people showed that this is bullshit. Now, you want to tell me that everything is going to now turn to violence? Video games. How about a TV with an R-rated TV? How about a shootout on a TV show? You know, you're showing people can get up and run away. Come on, man. Using rap lyrics against artists is a tactic prosecutors have used for decades. Even at once controversial gangster rappers have been absorbed into the American mainstream, and as many critics and fans have argued that rap artists should be given as much freedom to explore violence in their art as Quentin Tarantino or Shakespeare. Pretty good. The fresh crackdowns on rappers and their music have taken different forms in different cities. In New York this year, Mayor Eric Adams suggested that social media companies should ban some music videos by artists in the graphic drill rap genre after 2 aspiring rappers were killed in Brooklyn. I mean, we pulled Donald Trump off Twitter because of what he was spewing, yet we're allowing music, displaying of guns, violence. We're allowing this to stay on these sites, Mr. Adams said. Well, Mr. Adams, Mr. New York Mayor, you're fucked up. Because why don't you just take all video games off the friggin' thing? Why don't you not let Quentin Tarantino, as they say, make a movie with killings in it? Just because they're showing a gun or something? You know what? I really believe this in my heart, everybody. I think what's happened is these people aren't doing their jobs. Whether it's the lowest level cops all the way up, whoever it is. They're not doing their jobs and they're trying to look for a scapegoat. And right now it's the rapper. And it's wrong. We're trying to limit free speech now. That's what we're doing. Man, I understand why Trump was doing what he was doing. I really do. Though some of Young Thug's lyrics trade in violence, his success is rooted in a broader musical palette with delivery that can feel playful, psychedelic, and occasionally bizarre. Atlanta is hometown. His hometown has wrestled with an alarming spike in violence in recent months. The latest figures from the Atlanta Police Department show 60% more homicides through April 23rd than in the comparable period last year. Unease over that rise has prompted the Republican-led state legislature and the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, to enact a flurry of anti-crime bills. Violent crime has also become the most pressing political challenge for Atlanta's new Democratic mayor, Andre Dickinson, and Miss Willis, who became the first black female district attorney of Fulton County in 2021, February. Miss Willis' aggressive posture against gangs puts her at odds with more liberal Democratic prosecutors. Both George Gasson, the Los Angeles County District Attorney, and Chelsea Bowden, the San Francisco prosecutor, have stopped requesting longer sentences for people suspected of gang activity. Mr. Bowden has argued that such sentences worsen racial disparities and contribute to mass incarceration. Somebody's getting it. Dean Dabney, a professor of criminal justice at Georgia State University, was skeptical about Ms. Willis' contention that gangs have become the #1 public safety threat. I've seen no convincing systematic evidence that substantiates that, he said, adding that gun violence, more generally, was clearly a big problem. Monday's indictment notes that in December of 2020, Mr. Williams appeared in a video for a song full of violent language, as well as boasts about the good life and illegal success. It's titled, Take It to Trial. Well, I think this guy's taking it to trial, and I love him for it. This guy grew up in the hood, man. This guy grew up a tough life, and he's made something for himself. His house in Atlanta, in Buckhead, where they arrested him, is 11,000 square feet, 10 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, a mega mansion, garage, the whole works, movie room, bar, the whole works. He's a success. And you're just trying to stamp on his success, in my mind. He's had his legal issues, but so have I. You want to look at a bad guy? Look at my indictments and look at how wide-ranging. I even was indicted in 2002. I was in prison since 1996. So it's there. Since his career began, Young Thug has had many run-ins with the law. In April 15, after a Lil Wayne tour bus was fired at by members of the Bloods street gang, Thug was one of the individuals involved in a lawsuit after the bus driver of the tour bus decided to sue him, as well as Cash Money Records, Young Money Records, and Birdman. A lawsuit was filed against Thug in January 2017 after he didn't show up at a concert in Shailene Stadium after a $55,000 contract was signed. This wasn't the first time a lawsuit has been filed against him for not appearing at a concert, as a Texas production company had done the same in April of 16 after he failed to perform at a concert. I don't think, and I'm not even going to say where he would go if he was, he would get indicted, was violent crimes, what the conspiracy, what it carries. I'm not even doing that. You know why? Because he's going to beat every one of these charges. I really believe that in all my heart. I do not think this young guy is going to jail. I think the prosecutors way overstepped their boundaries. I think they're trying to blame a lot of things on gangs or other people for their lack of management of the COVID crisis and the violence and the police uprisings and the George Floyds and everything that went on. And they're now looking for a scapegoat. It's sad. I'm really disappointed, personally disappointed, in what's going on in Georgia. I don't care who controls what. It has nothing to do with political party. Are we going to be blaming every kid that might have been associated at a corner with a gang because that's where he had nobody to go to? And now that kid, you want to talk about bringing kids behind the 8-ball? Man, it's disgusting. But I had to just say this video, good luck, Young Thug. Good luck for all you guys. How's that? If you did something, you did it and you know it. This conspiracy, abafangul. Don't like it. Make good choices, everybody. Don't fall into that trap. Help somebody every day. It's called good karma. Open a door for a lady. Carry a bag. You'll feel good about it yourself. I hope to see you next time, and I'm in a little bit of better mood on a video than this crap going on right now. Have a great day, everybody. Please stay safe.